Yeah, it's your boy Polo the Swag King, and welcome to another episode of Polo's POV. If you thought about it, we probably go talk about it. Life, love, and all the above. And now that you know what type of party it is, let me stop all the shucking and jiving and come on with the come on. How y'all doing out there? I hope the sound of my voice fine, y'all. Feeling pretty good and highly favored and blessed and all that stuff. Y'all already know how I like to do it. I'm going to hit you with a quick greet and we go jump right on in this thing. Because, man, I got a whole lot of stuff to talk about. So getting right into it, this was a couple weeks ago in Queens, New York. A woman was stabbed over 60 times and in her home. And check this out. The crazy part about this, man, they said her 13-year-old son was upstairs while this was going on. I don't know. He must have had his headset on, gaming or something like that. I don't know. That's just speculation. But it's still sad. I think her husband and the other son, they was away looking at colleges. But she was also stuffed in a duffel bag and pulled away from her apartment. And from my understanding of the situation, I could be wrong, y'all. So don't quote me on it. But just from my understanding of the situation, they seen the blood from the duffel bag and then actually smeared back to her apartment. Like they just literally followed the blood back to her apartment and discovered she had been murdered. But anyway, the update on this story, they're saying that the actual killer was somebody she was having an affair with. Whether the husband was or wasn't aware, who knows? And then, just my point of view. And once again, these are my views. They don't represent any platform or publisher that my podcast is on. But, I mean, sometimes people are like, hey, I'm trying to do the right thing. I got to fight for my family. And then the outside person can't accept it. And, things happen. But I don't know. All this is alleged. Like I said, that's just my take on it. But either way, prayers go out to her family and also the killer's family as well. I know some people might look at it one way, but once somebody do something like that, not only the kids losing a mother, somebody done lost a brother, husband, son, it goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? But of course, most sympathy will go towards the victim. Anyway, moving right along. Massachusetts, they say, is the best state for working moms. We talking about as far as daycare, women's wages as compared to men wages. They say Massachusetts, and it's a couple more states, but Massachusetts, I believe, is on top of the list. And sad to say, but it's no surprise, Mississippi, where I'm broadcasting from, is one of the worst. And once again, that do not surprise me. It seems like Mississippi, we like some of the last ones to do anything. You know what I'm saying? It's like we stuck in our ways, and I don't know. It's just my personal opinion, man. I feel like some politicians need to be out and some need to be in it. And it's also the age bracket. Like, I don't want a bunch of people over 65, 70 making decisions for everybody. You know what I'm saying? There should be a little more diversity. And how about a young black man or a young black woman, young Chinese girl, young Indian woman, something because to be honest about it, some of the young kids got better ideas than us old heads, man, to be honest about it. They might see it from a different angle, but I feel like a lot of the ways of Mississippi and a lot of ways of a lot of southern states, not just Mississippi, I think we kind of are behind on the times or behind the 8 ball on that. And that's just my opinion on that. But I will give old Tate Reeves, I believe that's our governor name, I will give him credit for this one deal. I can't give him credit for much now, but I will give him credit for the tax cut. The first $3,600 would not be taxable for people making under like 120. Well, that's couples. I think it's like 65, 75 for individuals. But it's a 4% flat rate for people making that real money. Like if you're making over $175,000 a year, it's just gonna be a 4% flat rate. And I understand it, but I don't really like it for the simple fact. So you saying, let's say Elon Musk stayed in Mississippi and he's the richest man in the world. He gonna pay a 4% tax. And that's gonna be the same as a person that's running their own trucking company. You see where I'm going with that? So I don't think that's real fair as opposed to the richest man in the world and this guy that's just running his own trucking company. But hey, once again, I don't make the laws. I just try to go by them and report them. And speaking of the laws, I can't remember what state it was, but one of them, the governor or the mayor or whatever, he was proposing no grocery tax. Now, if I remember what state this is, the way these groceries been hitting me, man, I might be trying to get that way. You know what I'm talking about? Get an apartment or something. It's got to be like Delaware or something like that. Iowa. It's one of them little states up there. Maybe Rhode Island. I don't know. Y'all might have to help me out on that one. But the governor is proposing no grocery tax. And I ain't gonna lie, that would help me out. I'll take the grocery tax break over anything. I can probably deal with gas if the grocery tax wasn't here. But anyway, speaking of that, the great value ain't really a great value no more. You know what I'm saying? I bought some ice cream the other day. Man, it didn't even say vanilla ice cream. It just said frozen vanilla treat. I said, what? Whoa. But, I mean, it looked like, I said, well, damn, they probably know it ain't ice cream, so they don't want to put it on there. Somebody get them for false advertising. But I don't know about that. If it's called great value and it ain't a great value, I mean, that's the world we live in now, man. It's a little fucked up if you ask me now. I don't know about nobody else. And speaking of fucked up, this man go to the dentist. And somehow or another, while he's under, they give you the sleeping gas. I'm going to call it laughing gas. That's what we call it down here in the South. But, and I'm just some sort of anesthesia, relax you, dull the pain, all that. But somehow or another, in between all that, the dentist done dropped a half-inch drill bit down his throat. And done got into his lungs, and he had to go to the hospital and get it removed. Ooh. Now, this right here, you already know what's coming behind it. A lawsuit. I mean, I don't know if he jumped or the dentist, but either way, I'm pretty sure the dentist going to be held responsible for this. And I'm pretty sure if he had to go to the hospital and get it removed because it's in his lungs, they probably had to cut him open. Or either way, them hospital bills alone going to be worth him suing this particular practice. But here's the funny thing about that, y'all. The reason I liked this story, I ain't going to say liked this story, but I found it interesting. Go to a hospital. He had a half-inch drill bit in his lung. They'll take that. But go to the hospital with a toothache. Bro, they're not finna see you. It's like, that's all. You can go with a gunshot wounds. You got stabbed in the neck, had a 4-wheeler wreck, snake bite. But, bro, they ain't nothing they finna do for you. Most of them go turn you around, to be honest. They go for tell you, nah, we don't take toothaches. And I don't know why this is. And once again, that's something that need to be in legislation. Like, bro, you can do all this, but a toothache, you can't have. And you trying to tell me all the medical equipment and all the trained staff in there, if you really wanted to now, you couldn't handle no toothache. I don't know. Once again, that's your Polo point of view on that. Well, anyway, y'all. I wanted to also get on insurance and homeowners insurance. I touched on it on some of my previous podcasts about having insurance and handling your business and all that. Well, man, that homeowner insurance, boy, I'm talking about a whole nother playing field. I basically got interrogated. They wanted to know what kind of dogs I had. If I had trampoline, was it fenced in? Was it netted? They want to know what I had for breakfast. Nah, I'm bullshit. But I'm just saying, they wanted to know a lot of shit, man. Just if something happened to my house, just pay it off. Or pay for it or pay for a replacement. I mean, to me, it's just that simple. But I guess I see where they coming from. They don't want to be held liable for nothing. But at the same time, if nothing happen, that's how much money have I gave you over time. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm not the only one paying this. You multi-million, probably billion-dollar company, depending on who they is. Because you hear them all on the time. What's that? We are farmers. Bum, ba-da-dum, bum. Man, they were the worst ones, bro. They wanted like $4,000 a year. And I know somebody else might think that's cheap, depending on what state you stay in. But in the state of Mississippi, that's a little high. It's actually through the roof. It was damn near triple what I was already paying. And I was just shopping around to see if I can get a lower rate. But I tried, and it was hard to get a lower rate. But I think Progressive came through for me. But I had to go through kind of like an insurance broker, because when I called and I talked to them and they asked me a million questions, it's pretty much no more than what I was, or no less than what I was paying at the current moment. And then they like either wanted to give me less coverage, or, they didn't want to cover this, they didn't want to cover that. So I don't know, y'all. I think the insurance company or the new crooks, you know what I'm saying? They the real American gangsters, cause they run around taking people money, jacking up their rates. And then one company told me, I was like, well, yo, the insurance, it went up like $600-700, and they told me, yeah, it's gonna go up every year. Every year, like, you already know this. This already preset. Are you serious? And that was like, yeah. I mean, that's just how it goes. And then guess what? If you got a mortgage, you got to have insurance. So I mean, you kind of between a pimp and a hard place. You know what I'm talking about? But anyway, keeping it moving on that, because that one right there, I cannot wrap my head around. Let me lighten things up just a little bit, because everybody love Michael Jordan. The kids love Jays. They can't keep their feet out of them. But this how lucrative Michael Jordan, from my understanding, the Jordan brand is really separate from Nike. Like, I think Jordan got his own hands in it by itself. Like, Nike might be the original maker of it, but have you ever noticed you don't see like the Nike sign on Jordans that much? You just see like the Jordan or whatever. But anyway, since he signed with them and back in 1985. Nike done gave Michael Jordan over $1.3 billion. That's with a B. And I can kind of see why they so high now, because they try to get their money back, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Shout out to Michael Jordan for pimping that deal right there. And I ain't gonna say really pimping that deal, because he is one of the greatest. If some people might say he is the best, it just depends on your point of view. I know he made me like Chicago Bulls. I don't know about nobody else. And all them titles they were bringing, them and Phil Jackson, Scottie Pippen, B.J. Them boys had a little dynasty going over there now. Don't be hating. Anyway, I thought this was the dumbest story in the world. Texas want to put a 78-year-old man to death. And I don't know why they do that on death row. I guess they want to make sure they prove that you got a chance of proving your innocence before they execute you or whatnot. But people sit on death row 15, 20 years and stuff like that. And so I'm pretty sure this man wasn't 78 when he got put on death row, but he on death row. And I'm like, he's 78 years old, man. I mean, he ain't got long no way. I mean, you can say that whatever. If it's the lethal injection, that money you spending on the chemicals, the needle to put in. I mean, just leave him alone. Keep feeding that food, because man, that jailhouse food it's terrible. That's gonna kill him quicker than that needle anyway. You know what I'm saying? And keeping it on the prison system. And I take the prison system personal in case you ain't figured that out yet. But Parchman, Mississippi. Once again, we have got to step it up. The state's starting to embarrass the citizens, man. They're starting to embarrass us around here. But anyway, Parchman prison system, was under investigation. They say they violated the human rights of the prisoners. Look, that's no surprise, people. I mean, let's be honest about that. They said they didn't give them adequate mental health. They was in prolonged solitary confinement. And I mean, now that we know all this and you got a whole report about it, my thing is, what you gonna do about it? I mean, it's like Mike Epps said, you know I fuck you, but what you gonna do about it? So I mean, just reporting this is one thing, but like everybody know the prison system is jacked up. It's messed up on so many ways. The safety of the people that's in there, people got to do things they don't want to do just to survive, and the food. I mean, come on. It really need a whole overhaul. Judges in cahoots with the owners of the prison, so they giving people long-term. Well, I ain't gonna say people. I'm gonna say African Americans. They getting them their business when it comes to sentencing, to make sure that they stay locked up, to make sure that the people they going to have tea and playing golf with keep money in their pocket. because it's big business. If you look at if you do your research on Mississippi, we got so many private, not state funded or state ran, but private